Hey guys, Beyond Light shipped with a drastically modified engine, partly designed so that bugs could be fixed faster and more regularly. It also included character customization, lighting, mission, and scripting changes. Well, I have to say that this engine update didn't even make half baked. Beyond Light is still in the freezer. There's some design decisions, like taking away old paid DLC content, that had to be done for various reasons, and I get that retrofitting old content into a different engine takes time. But even with delays, there are way too many bugs to be satisfied with. I've been on a record high of game bug videos that help players, but I didn't even have time to talk about all of the bugs that only hurt players. Many things in Forsaken and Shadowkeep paid DLC are still broke. Prophecy Dungeon was even removed for a while, and they gave it back to us without any of the triumphs working. None of the prophecy cosmetics can be attained, even though the triumphs are awarded. Thunderlord Scope is kinda having an issue, although not as bad as Reckless Oracle. Reckless Oracle doesn't even have a dot. How are you supposed to aim like that? Bungie stated that all old armor would have a legacy slot with all of the mods. However, this is not the case for Scourge Raid armor. It seems to be the only armor set missing some Charged with Light mods, and for no reason since it's not even Sunset and Leviathan armor has those mods. Divinity puzzles no longer have text notifications. This makes it harder to tell if you successfully completed or failed a puzzle. Not only that, the animation for making a final loop connection is missing on Puzzle 4, and sometimes the tether box on third phase of Sanctified Mind locks up and won't activate, although you can work around it with Chaos Reach. Well, if Radiance overwrites the Lucent Blade mod buff, meaning you are losing damage, typically the highest buff percentage gets applied as per Bungie's official statement, but not today. The Enhanced Scanner Augment raid mod gives less of a debuff on enemies, even nullifying Divinity's effects, actually making your whole team do less damage when applied in the Deepstone Crypt raid. The Cryoclasm debuff has missing text when sliding in the tower, which makes it seem like it shouldn't work at all. Melee Resist counts as an arc mod, activating things like Powerful Friend's secondary bonus, even though it's not an arc mod. Double Machine Gun Reserves disables the first reserve, making it count as having no reserves, so you can only use one. Unrelenting doesn't work, an entire perk that does nothing. Barriers in PvP maps have been missing, allowing players to get out of the skybox and snipe players from messed up spots. Raid checkpoints are counting as full clears, even allowing players to solo or trio Flawless Queen's Walk for the tags on Raid Report. You can even two-man a Petra's run without killing anything. Scions in some activities like Prophecy are duplicating way too fast. It's actually nuts. Surrounded Spec mod doesn't keep the buff after leaving Surrounded Radius. The Ahamkara Bone collectibles are missing for many people in the Dreaming City. Merciless doesn't work, although it breaks like every other season. Essence of Jealousy can't be completed because the enemy never spawns. The Triumph for Flawless Garden of Salvation doesn't seem to be working at all. Infinite Creeping Darkness happens the first run after beating Riven on the Queen's Walk encounter. It will not kill you if you're away from the heart. You can keep gaining darkness, allowing you to sprint to the end. Even some enemies don't spawn. You still need to pass the heart around though. Of course, wiping fixes this issue. A lot of old triumphs are also not working correctly, like time trials, as well as raid triumphs not working when wearing Necrotic Grips or Fellwinter's Helm, overriding your current subclass. The Flora's Lava Challenge light was not disappearing at the tower. The Altars of Sorrow boss is not changing every week, making the Harbinger title unobtainable. Bungie outlined several of the bugs being fixed tomorrow. Hive bosses were not counting as Hive boss kills and bounties. Some players couldn't respawn if they died during the boss fight of the Inverted Spire Strike. Players could get out of the environment in several Crucible maps. Some quest items were not dropping on the moon. This prevented completion of several Essence quests such as Essence of Rage, Essence of Insanity, and Essence of Servitude. The Unrelenting perk was not triggering health regeneration. Mida Multitool's Catalyst wasn't dropping from competitive Crucible wins. Taken Scions were replicating too rapidly in some Prophecy dungeon encounters. Garden of Salvation flawless completions were not awarding the inherent perfection triumph. The High Celebrant sometimes wouldn't take damage nor go to the Ascendant plane. Players could have Shelter from the Storm permanently applied in the Deepstone Crypt raid. I mean, I get that one, but it makes me sad. Fixed an issue where Cloud Strike hits on the Divinity Cage counted as 2 precision hits. Fixed an issue where the Grandmaster Nightfall timer was set to 30 minutes. This was something that should have remained at 45 minutes, so that's going to help on some GMs. Fixed an issue on PlayStation 5 preventing clan rosters from loading. PlayStation had to go without a friends list for a while as well, but they also mentioned other known bugs in the TWAB that they plan to fix eventually. Colorblind issues, special finisher no longer obtainable, overload issue with auto rifles, several last wish issues, unable to complete ascendant challenges and blocking the seal, time trial triumphs having a lot of issues, even a stat tracker issue. And that's the half of it. Those are the newly acknowledged issues. There are tons more on their website. Bungie decided that Destiny 2 would come out with a non-stop drip-fed content. This is okay for some, a little boring at times. The seasonal model isn't perfect, and Bungie is trying to change fundamental parts of the game. It's a sad fact that they are selling this old DLC when a lot of it doesn't even work. Heck, even sunsetting has been an issue. The Nightmare Hunts are 1280 power, but the rewards can't go above 1060, meaning you can't use the things you get in them. And the solution is to bring the old things back, but not allow you to keep anything you already have. It's the same effect we got when transitioning from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. You can't bring your stuff forward, although the ability to bring old armor designs forward with transmog could still be a possibility. Bungie is putting a lot of effort into evolving the game, but that has only left existing content in the dust. They didn't bug test the existing DLC content. Just to make sure it's working. It's almost false advertising. The old raids are so slapped together that some bosses are always present. Callie and the First Consecrated Mind are visible from any raid checkpoint and even give their loot. I feel like they were so focused on shipping Beyond Light that everything that Destiny was until now became irrelevant. Your materials, tokens, weapons, armors quests, and even planets are being removed. Things that we paid for, things that we can still pay for. They are riddled with inconsistencies and problems. This was supposed to be Destiny 3 celebrating a new chapter, but that's all it was, only focusing on the new things and leaving old things in the dust. The activities, triumphs, planets, and gear, it truly feels like we did get a Destiny 3 where Destiny 2 didn't survive, and their first step in correcting it is to bring back all of the things that made Destiny great in this Destiny 3, reselling us the same game in a modified engine over the next 3 years. Returning content is what they call it. The Destiny Content Vault is designed so that any content can be returned after they make bug fixes and improvements to it. And all of D1 and D2 will be returned to us with some new stuff in between. I'm not saying I want to throw away the old stuff or that the old stuff is bad. We get more bang for our buck when we get returning content. We're just asking for a little quality of life and recognition for our existing gear. The worst part of the engine changes is that you're buying DLC with the illusion that everything works as it's presented to us. Right now, that's far from the case. But I also feel bad for the free-to-play aspect. They made the game free, then removed everything that free players could do. The New Light experience may have been confusing, but the Beyond Light experience is abysmal. I think if they would have held off with the engine changes just for a little bit longer, we would have had a polished product. A game where old content still worked. And on one hand, I may not know the sacrifices that had to be made to make Beyond Light a success, but I don't call it a success. The engine is not in a better state than the old one. It could care less about old content and its troubles, only with the promise that it can improve content in the future. And I'm eager to see how that pans out. I would like to say that fixes have been coming quicker to players, but the problems resolved were created by a half-baked engine. We still get the server-side disabling of exotics and activities to treat the symptoms of bigger issues, and we still wait weeks for an actual solution. I can live with the bugs, but there are too many for Bungie to handle, and it takes players a lot of reading to keep up with all of the issues that arise when just trying to play the game as it was intended to be played. Bungie claimed the engine would solve their problems, but it feels like the real problem is the updated engine.
Cheese forever, Guardian.